I'm going to read this problem number 25 for you, and then I'll probably have to do it over two screens because there's a lot of writing. An 11 by 14 sheet of construction paper can be rolled to form two different cylinders depending on which side of the paper, the long side or the short side, is used as the height of the cylinder. What is the difference between the volumes of each of those cylinders? Your answer should be a number, not an explanation. So, when I fold this, I'm literally connecting this corner to this corner here, and that's going to wrap around the top here. That means this edge is going around the top, or you could talk about it, this edge going around the bottom. Okay? So right now we have a height of 14 when we put the long edge as the height, but the circumference is 11. Well, the circumference is 2 pi r, which means the radius is 11 over 2 pi, or 5.5 over pi. And some people wrote this down, it's about 1.75. We want the volume of this one, so the volume is base times height. Here, I'm going to back up, put it up top here. The volume is the base times the height, which is pi r squared h, which is pi. The radius is 5.5 over pi squared times the height, which is 14. This ends up making, when you do 5.5 squared times 14, you'll get 423.5, but you also have a pi and a pi squared. So you have pi, and this will be pi squared, so this one's going to cancel out one of the squareds there, so this is going to be over pi for the volume. Okay? And that turns out to be about 134.8. Okay, so that's the first volume. That's when you do the tall end, you get a tall, skinny cylinder. I'm going to change the screen now, go to the next page. What if I do a wide, what if I do a wide what is it, 14 by 11 short cylinder? Well, it's going to go look like this. Okay, and we know our height is 11, but now this edge here just wrapped around the top, or you could say this edge just wrapped around the bottom. That's the circumference. So we know the circumference is 14, but that's equal to 2 pi r. So r equals, if you divide by 2 pi, it's going to be 7 over pi, which is approximately 2.23. Now I don't like to use that number in there, but so you'll see me work without it. But there's our radius. Now we can figure out the volume. The volume, in this case of this, we'll call it the second cylinder situation, is base times height, which is pi r squared h. So we're going to get pi times 7 over pi squared times 11. And just like the last one, this is going to end up making this a 2 here, and that's a 1, so it's going to cancel out one of those there. So we get something, whoops, we get something over pi. And then we get 49 times 11, which is 539. which is about 171.6. So if we take our answer from the first page, which was this one here, 134.8, and subtract it from the second page, the volume difference is going to be 171.6 minus 134.8. Just double check that. Yep, 134.8. And that gives us an approximate difference of 36.8, whatever the units were, cubic units. So it does, a lot of people said these were the same volume. No, they're not. The radius has a double effect here. The radius is squared, so it has a double effect, even though the height has some effect, not as much in this situation.